Welcome back again. It's day 44 of learning to read Chinese. Today's unit, 形数, is about shapes and forms, geometry sort of things. First word of the day, first character, 点. Now, 点 has a lot of meanings. In the context of this chapter, we're just talking about a dot, like a point, the thing that has no dimensions. Is that how you say it? Like no length, no width, no depth, just a point. It can also mean a dot or a spot, a speck. We use it when talking about defined time, like 时间点 would be like once you set an appointment, the time that you set it at. And we also use it for saying the time. Like right now, as I record this, it's just after 4 p.m. You'd say 4点 for 4 p.m. for 4 o'clock would be 4点钟. It's actually 4:12, so that would be 4点12分. So the 点 is for the hour, and the 分 is for the minutes. 点, we also use it for pastries, like little snacks and things. We call 点心. It's little snacks. I believe dim sum is actually 点心, because they're sort of small eats, not like you add them all together, it becomes a meal too, but it's not the same as a more formal full dish, I guess. 点 could be an aspect of something. As a verb, it could refer to select and appoint, like a person. Giving directions would be called 点路. Giving a hint. Light up, like ignite. Ignite is 点火, like if you use a lighter and you ignite a fire. Review, that would be 点评, like a critical, when a critic writes a review of a restaurant or a movie or whatever. Pour boiling water, I think that would be like when you make tea. I want to say something like that. It's in here somewhere. 冲. Yeah, we use 冲 for this as well. 点汤. 点茶. Yeah, that's what I thought. So like if you're making a broth or tea, you pour boiling water in it, you could use 点 also. Touch, skim, like touching lightly, like poking lightly, just with a little point of contact, not like a slap or a whole hand on there or anything like that, just a little bit. Drip, some, a little, you'd call 一点. The least bit for a little bit. That's all the ones in here. There's a few more over here. Like, traditionally, we split the night into 5 watches, which are 2 hours long each. And so then 1/5 of one watch would be, I guess, 24 minutes. What's called 一点. That's not used anymore. Beat, like a metronome. When you talk about metronome, you'd say 点拍 for keeping the time in music. That's about it. 线 is a thread, a string, a wire, or a line. So in the sense of geometry and stuff, a line which has one dimension, only length. Can also refer to a boundary or demarcation, because you draw like a dividing line. Refer to a route. You draw a line on a map. At that point, it's not. It could be like a wiggly. It doesn't have to be straight, like in the strict geometrical sense. A ray, which is starting from a point and then projecting infinitely in the length dimension. A gleam, like a gleam of light, I guess. And also, when we talk about kind of informally ranking Chinese cities by like how major of a metropolitan area they are, you'd say like Yixian would be the biggest cities, and then they just go down successively like that. Mian. I think you can kind of see where this is going. We went from a point to a line to a plane. Mian, which has no thickness but has length and width. A face, a surface, could be the top or the side of something. Any of the faces. Specifically, like the right side of a fabric or the whatever flat thing, as opposed to the wrong side or the underside. The outside as opposed to the inside. It also means directly or face to. Like if you face something head on, or if you meet a person in person, like face to face. Those sorts of things. Because it means not just face like the faces of a cube, but also like a person's face. Flour, yes, we also call flour, especially wheat flour, we call mian. Although it could be other types of flour, but I think for a lot of those we just use like the type of grain and then fen, like powder. 糯米粉, for instance, like the sticky rice flour. But mian usually refers to wheat flour. Noodles, we call noodles mian tiao, because they're long, stringy sort of strings made out of flour. But we call it also just mian for short, noodles. Dough would be mian tuan, but that's also called just mian for short. Like you'd say rou mian or fa mian for kneading dough or letting it rise for bread and such. It's also got some kind of more slang or colloquial meanings based on that. A person is soft like dough, then they're like spineless and ineffectual. We could also use mian to describe the texture of soft food that's not crunchy. It's like mushy, doughy sort of texture. 段 is a segment, a section, a paragraph, a stage of a process. We use this to classify as a counting word for stories, periods, lengths of time, lengths of thread, things like that. In more obscure meanings, we use it for grades, like how the player ranks. I think in the game of Go, in Weiqi, that's not really, I mean, obviously that's pretty niche. Or here it's got like the working units, like the units of workers in industry and mining enterprises, apparently are also called duan. In this context, we talk about segments, like line segments, I guess. But yeah, for lengths of time, you say 一段时间 would be a length of time. 一段故事 it would be a section of a story. And the comedy bits we call 段子 or an episode or piece in a program. Cho is a ball or a sphere or globe. And then any of those sports involving balls we call whatever adjective cho. Same thing as we do in English, right? Because cho means ball. It could be also referring to the match in those ball sports. And I guess originally this also referred to fine jade, but I don't think that's really a meaning that we use anymore. But yeah, so anything that we're relating to the sports teams of the sports that play ball. Well, in American we say play ball, we mean baseball. But it could be like any of them. Like basketball, baseball, football, whatever. And you'd abbreviate it to just ball when you're talking about like the team. 球队球赛 for the match. Whatever. Who is an arc? In ancient times, this referred to a bow, like for archery, but this is just, which was kind of arc-shaped, right? This is a segment of a circle. This is an arc. Who? 椭 is used, the full word is 椭圆, which is an elongated circle, which is an oval. Or an ellipse. So then 椭圆, 椭球, because 球 is a ball, right? So 椭球 is what you call an ellipsoid, like the three-dimensional one. 圆 means round. Round, complete, whole, integrated, satisfactory, agreeable, accommodating, agile, tactful. Well, these are all kind of related to the shape, sort of, and the sorts of feelings that the shape of round gives you. Across cultures, we use round circles to mean complete and whole. Integrated, satisfactory. So this could also be like if you're making up a story and you want to make sure all the parts of it are integrated and make sense together, the continuity is sound, you'd use 圆 for that as the verb. Agile and tactful. That would be like, because circles round, slippery, something like that. Being words. Probably some of the example words here. 圆熟 dexterous, skillful, proficient. 圆润 is like smooth and slippery, kind of moist, like a baby. But that could also be smooth, like suave. I'm thinking of something. 圆滑 This sense of smooth and slippery is like evasive and sly. So that's because when something is perfectly smooth and round, it's hard to grab onto. Mellow and full. Round as in like, I'm not thinking of English words. Like full and fleshy, soft, sort of talk about someone's figure, or like anything that's full in terms of growth. The moon, small round things like tangyuan. If you saw another chapter, I think it was here. I put it here. 酒酿汤圆. You call them 汤团 or 汤圆 because the 团 is like a little lump. 圆 is a little round thing, so you could call them either. But that's like these little round balls in there. Back to our unit. It's also the unit of Chinese currency, like a Chinese, basically the unit equivalent, not equivalent in terms of value, but equivalent in terms of usage to the dollar. But you use this character sometimes, but we also use this one. We use both of those. Yuan can also mean perfect, which is related to complete, whole, integrated, satisfactory. It can mean a revolve, going in a circle, because this is for circles. Or a reunion, which again I guess is related to complete, whole. It's like 团圆 you'd use when you say like family reunions, everybody getting together after being apart for some time, such as happens at New Year's holiday time. They don't actually have yuan xiao in here. Yuan xiao. Okay, show me a result. Anyhow, moving on. Ling. This ling refers to this funny looking plant. It grows in the water. Looks like this. You open it up, you eat the little white fleshy portion in the inside. These are pretty hard to eat. The shells are really hard and pointy. This is called Lingjiao. Water caltrop. It's got other names. Buffalo nut, bat nut, devil pod, mustache nut, singhara nut. 3 different species of this stuff. All kind of similar, I guess. In this chapter, though, we are talking about a rhombus, a diamond or lozenge shape, which is called Lingxing. Lingxing. This thing is Lingjiao. Zui. Zui means an awl, the tool with a pointy end, or to stab with an awl or bore a hole, which is how you use that tool. In this context, we're talking about zui ti. Zui ti is a cone because it's got a pointy tip. A cone, right? It starts with a circle base. It's got a pointy tip. Leng. Leng is a corner or an edge, a ridge. This is an obscure word. Aris. Used in architecture, meaning a sharp edge formed by the meeting of 2 flat or curved surfaces. So just an edge. Protrusion. If you talk about something that's angular, you'd say 有棱角. Because 角, well, 角 more, I would say 棱more specifically refers to edges, and 角 more specifically to corners. But if you say 棱角, that's just all of the sort of sharp and angular features. You could say like a person's face. If they've got like an angular and chiseled face, you'd say 有棱角. Leng, it's got the reason why it's got The reason why it's got wood on the side is because this originally referred to square timber. We've also got these meanings of awe-inspiring or severe, because I guess, like, if you think of a person who has a really angular and chiseled face, they kind of look intimidating and severe, right? So I think that's sort of where that comes from. Lung. This character is pronounced lung when you use it in bulungdeng. And bulungdeng doesn't really mean anything. You just put it after adjectives when you want it to sound a little silly, I guess. Hong bulungdeng, hua bulungdeng. Like, oh, it's just a noise. Ling. This character is pronounced ling, and this specific place name. What is this character? Mu, I think.
Mu.
Yeah. There's a little county called Muling in Heilongjiang. In that place name, it's pronounced Ling. Typically, Lung. And then also, by the way, a pyramid, which is like a cone but with edges, is called Lungzui. So there you go. Jiao, which I just mentioned. Lengjiao. Jiao, angle, angle, corner, point. Also used for horns, like animals' horns or devil horns or whatever. And also used for 10 cents in Chinese money. So a tenth of a yuan is 1jiao. Also pronounced 角 when referring to roles played by actors. It can also mean to contend or compete, referred to a certain type of ancient three-legged wine vessel, and also to the third note in the pentatonic scale. I would say probably these are going to be less used, but this is very common. This is also pretty common. Use it like scroll down. Yeah, like 决斗, 决力, 角逐. These are all those kind of fighting ones. 角色. 角色 is usually the full form of the word used for roles and parts, but you can use just 角 as like a abbreviation, I guess. 丑角, 旦角, 名角, 男角, 女角. The main character is called 主角. People sometimes pronounce it 角, though, even in that word. I'm pretty sure it's like, yeah, you'd say 主角 for the main character, but some people say 主角. So take from that what you will. There's a lot of these things where the character has multiple pronunciations, and some of them are only used in certain words, but most people don't know that it's supposed to be pronounced differently in that specific word, so they just still use the other pronunciation. But then the thing about language is that if enough people say it wrong, that becomes right. So here's a couple of really funny ones. It looks exactly like what it means. Tu means convex, protruding, raised, gibbous. Tu. We use it for if you're talking about like ports and plugs and stuff. The male connector is called tu because that's literally the shape of it. Alt is gonna be the opposite. Look at them. They fit together. Alt, concave, hollow, sunken, dented. And the female connector, like the port, is going to be called alt, and the plug is going to be called tu. There you go. Socket. connectors. Ding. Ding is the crown of the head, or the top, or the front. Kind of pointy. Maybe the peak, the summit. Carrying something on your head. Bear, like withstanding. Butt against. Gore. Go against. Push up. Cope with. Take over. Very. This is very because it's like the peak, the ultimate, or whatever. Would be 顶尖. Yeah, so it kind of has like the end of something pushing into something else, right? All those sorts of meanings are derived from that. Jin. What do you know? I just said that. 顶尖. Jin means shrill, high-pitched, a point, a tip, something pointy, anything sharp and pointy. Because look at that. The bottom is big, 大, and the top is small, 小, so it's pointy, right? The best of its kind. The peak, the one, because when you put like a ranking, there's a lot of them at the bottom that are crap, and there's only one that's the very best at the very top. Shu. Shu means longitudinal or vertical. The next few ones are all talking about strokes in Chinese characters, in Chinese writing. So this one on the bottom, this is li, which is for standing up. That helps at all. Shu. Pie. Pie is the left falling stroke. So like this one right here. This one right here is pie. It goes down and to the left. Pie can mean throw or cast, put on. I'm talking about put on, putting on. What are we putting on? We're putting on... By 出中. Is that like armor and stuff? Putting on a show? Like when you put on a performance of some play? That should be clarified, I think. It can also mean to curl the lip, like could be for curling up like a smile, curling sort of to the in disdain, in skepticism, anything that you're sort of like your mouth moving in a direction. It's called 撇嘴. Got another reading. 撇. And 撇 means to lay aside, cast off, cast aside, neglect, abandon, skim off. 撇. Na. So if 撇 was the left falling stroke, the one that goes down to the left, na is the one that goes down and to the right. It's like this one here is na. Other than that, na also means to press with force or press down, specifically restrain, repress, all these sorts of things. Wait, hold on. 折. 折 means, again, we're first talking about, do we have any in here? There are no 折 in this character. Find one that does have it. I mean, I guess you could say. Any sort of turning stroke, so I guess this would count as one right here. use them to some of these like combination strokes. Like guess this one maybe. You'd say this is 竖折钩 because it goes down first vertically and then it turns and then there's like a hook at the end, I think. Something like that. So that's the meaning in the context of these shapes in calligraphy. Other than that, 折 refers to a break, a snap, a bend, twist, turn. Anything that, like, in a different direction. It means submit to or deflate. If you're talking about, in English, we use fold for that meaning too. Like if someone submits and surrenders and complies with the will of another, you'd say fold. Discount in price, like I said earlier, I think in another day. 打折 is a discount. 折扣 is like a penalty, I think. Suffer the loss. Reduce, die young, judge. What is this? Dying. 夭折 means dying. 折合抵当. What's this? Being like supportive. I'm not sure what all of these are. If you inspect the dictionary, money. What am I even saying? The dictionary entry for more specifics on the usages of these. This is apparently a word. What? I'm a little confused right now. Because there's some of these are here only for certain pronunciations. I guess some of these may be related to the meaning of breaking. If you say like destroy, ruin, torment, 折害. 折磨. Is this a 折 and 折磨? It is. Or like torment and torture. 折罪. Atone for a crime. So this has actually got a lot of different meanings too, but primarily meaning break, snap, and twist, turn. Which is also why it's used for that in calligraphy. Depending on, you'd clarify which meaning you're trying to use by making compound words with other characters that have the meaning that you're trying to convey from 折. Got a couple other readings. 折, which also carries the meanings of bend and break, and it means to lose money in business. So you'd say like 折本, which would be the same as 亏本. I guess.
请练习今天新学的字。
And we also got 这, which means to turn over or pour back and forth between containers. And this description, I think, needs to be updated with this meaning, which is not in the English for some reason. We use this colloquially to mean something that's like annoying, or because 折腾, if you say 折腾, it's like turning something from side to side, or putting it from back and forth, over and over again, back and forth. And so 折腾 is used to mean like something that's a big hassle. So you're just turning it over and over and over and over and over.
请练习今天新学。请练习今天新学的字。
Please stop. Do means steep or precipitous when you're talking about an incline. It can also mean suddenly or deeply. This is 走 on the right, which I guess is kind of phonetic and also a little bit of the meaning. It's got an ear on the left side, which the only thing I can think of that would make that relevant is like when you have a sudden change in elevation and your ears pop. Maybe. Might help you remember. Gong. This is gong, I think, on the right for the sound. Hand on the left tells you it's an action. Salute with the hands folded. Surround. Arch. This is arch like the verb, arching your back. Digging the earth with a snout, something that some animals do. Sprouting up through the earth. Ride. Span with the hands. What are we riding? Okay, yeah. This should also be tweaked a little, I think. It should say ride up. It's not like riding a horse. It's riding like when your clothes kind of creep up on your body. Your skirt riding up, or your sleeves riding up, or something. That sort of thing. Gong ba arch. Gong bao. Encircle. Gong ding would be a vault, because that's like an arch that has a peak. Isn't a vault basically just a revolved arch? Gong du, gong gao, gong jian, spandrels, arch bridge, arch door. So anything that's arched is going to use this. Gong. Te. Te is the side or the edge of something, as opposed to like 正面. 正面 would be where this is 面. 正 is like this 正. Central. 正面 would be the front face, and 侧面 would be the side, the oblique face. 侧 can also mean incline, lean, near, close to, askew, or aslant. Anything that's like leaning kind of towards something else. You'd also use 侧 for that. Leaning to the side. 左侧右侧 would be the left side, right side. When you talk about leaning in, leaning close, you say like 侧耳, or 侧目 would be for your ears and your eyes. 侧镜. Such like that. And last one for today. 闲. xian, which originally would have been for a bowstring. That's why we got this on the side, which represents the bow. We use it for the strings of musical instruments. A chord with an H? I feel like that should not have an H. Oh no, this is like the mathematical. What? Yeah, this is like the mathematical concept of a chord. So it's like a straight line joining the ends of an arc. You got an arc, which is part of a circle, and then the chord, which goes from the point to the other point through the middle of the circle. Not the center, just like, I shouldn't have said that. Line segment connecting the 2 points of an arc. Let me try again. A chord, in this sense, xian, referring to a chord in the mathematical sense, which is a line that connects the 2 endpoints of an arc. If you recall, an arc is a segment of a circle. Xian can also refer to hypotenuse, the longest edge of a triangle. And today we're gonna stop there. Tomorrow we'll finish this. Next few days, because these are units with 6 lines, I thought it's probably better to do 3 and 3 than to try to do the whole thing in one go. Or to do 4 and then do like half of one chapter and half of the next. It's kind of weird. So we're just doing 3 lines every day for the next few days. Make sure you remember to review, practice, all the words that you learned. Let's get through the ones from today first. Yeah. That was wrong. Oh, yeah. This you're never gonna forget what they mean. Just looks exactly like that. Choop. Yeah. Okay, so that's all the ones from here. But you should continue practicing so you can hit some of the ones from before, so you don't forget how to read them. We'll see you tomorrow with the rest of that chapter. Bye-bye.